Okay everyone, this is Heretic Plus, and welcome to episode 2 of Let's Play The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. And you know what sucks, guys? What sucks is a girl that you've gone out with twice saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm still trying to get over my ex-boyfriend." You know, that sucks, but you know what? I don't have time for that personal shit, because we're playing The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Yeah! And let's face it, guys, we all love video games before we loved girls. So there you go. Anyways, so we're getting started into our first dungeon in the Deku Tree. So let's go. Walking inside the tree. Holy crap. There is all this stuff. And, you know, really this means that somebody came in and hollowed him out from the inside. Do you know how painful that must have been? I can only imagine how awful that must have felt for him. Okay, what's up, sir? Skadoosh. Oh, I missed. Right, and I suppose I should mention now, if you kill the Deku Babas when they're sticking straight up, they will turn into Deku Sticks when you kill them. If you kill them when they're down, they'll turn into Deku Nuts. Yeah, you know, who would have known that the Deku Tree had so many nuts? Yeah, and Deku Nuts can be used to stun certain enemies. To be honest, there's not that much of a use for them. There are certain areas in the game where, like, you can use them. Like, there's a couple of boss fights where they actually, for some reason, deal some damage and such, but they're never better than the alternative, and therefore, I won't use them unless just to show something off. They don't have a lot of use, but, they're here, so there you go. I might as well grab this, actually. Woo, spongy. What do you want, Navi?
Look, Link! You can see down below this web using the upper sea thingy.
What do you know? I can. There's lots of, watery stuff down there. I guess we'll be going down there eventually. Which we will. This first dungeon isn't very long. In fact, it's actually really, really easy. But it's the first one, so that's okay. Alright, so we're gonna go all the way, climb up the trunk here. And they said money didn't grow on trees. Alright, so these things on the walls are called Skulltulas. There are two kinds of Skulltulas. Normal Skulltulas, which have white skulls, and golden Skulltulas, which of course have gold skulls. These ones serve no purpose other than that they're enemies. Golden ones actually drop tokens. I'll talk about them later. They're collectibles. But for now, we cannot traverse that wall until we have something to shoot those guys down. But we got the dungeon map. Ba-da-ba-bam! So basically inside, we now have access to the layout of the place. It's not very big. There's only like 10 rooms. But in every dungeon, pretty much, we'll find two items. A map, which is the thing down in the right. It shows up there as well. And a compass, which puts a cursor on our map of where we're at, where doors are, where treasure chests are, etc. We'll find that in pretty much every dungeon. So here's just her telling us how to open doors. Whoop-de-doo. That's pretty amazing. Let's open up the door. So here we go. The bar's locked behind us, and these guys, Deku Scrubs, I believe, yes, they hide in the grass and shoot nuts at us, which if we shoot back with our shield, will stun them, so that's pretty cool.
Ow, ow, ow! Forgive me, Master. If I give you a clue, will you let me go? When you jump off a high cliff, if you hold the sticky thingy forwards, you will roll on the ground when you land. Yeah. Pretty cool. I can't guarantee it will work, though, if the cliff is really high. Yeah, so basically, no matter how high Link is, I mean, unless him falling would automatically, like, kill you, which happens if, like, they didn't make a ground for the area or whatever, if you roll at the last second, you'll avoid all damage. So Link has, like, a back of steel, because that would just, that sounds like it would hurt so bad to take all that weight on your spine. And I don't have a great back, so there you go. Got a chest over here. Ah, it's falling! Okay, that was pretty close. Okay, so we have another chest. What do we got in here? Big chests are awesome. I do enjoy big chests. The slingshot! Ba-da-ba-bam! So yeah, this is the precursor to the bow in this game, which we'll use for a lot of puzzles, a lot of enemies, and this will also help us kill those Skulltulas that we saw climbing on the vines earlier. So there you go. Yeah, I know.
Cool, so we'll equip that. Oh yeah, and we can hold 30 seeds that we fire with it. Alright, so this thing is up here blocking our way, and before I get us out of this little situation, this is kind of funny to me, viewers, because in every Zelda game, and every Zelda-like game, you generally find an item in a dungeon, like how we just found the Deku, or the slingshot, that helps us get through the dungeon, and then also subsequent areas in the game. But what if we showed up, and it wasn't here? Like, we would literally spend the entire game in this dungeon and be unable to leave. We'd starve to death, you know, which is not a very fitting end for the hero of time. But, yeah, it's just funny. It just makes me laugh every time I play a game like that. Okay, so we got our first dungeon upgrade, I suppose you could say. Okay, so we're back here in the initial room, and now we can shoot down these mofos. Skadoosh. Man, I have not played with an N64 controller in a very long time, so the joystick feels really weird in my hands. That's not what she said, guys. Don't go there. But, you know, that's a good point, because, you know, the N64 was one of the greatest systems probably ever made, you know, as far as how efficient it was. You know, it never really broke down or had problems. It was pretty much invincible. You could drop stuff on it, etc. But the controllers, okay, firstly, half the controller is useless because, like, only like 3 games that I can think of actually used the left side of the controller. But right here is a new enemy. These are big Skulltulas. If you try and if you get too close, they'll spin around and smack you. You can only hit them from behind. See, he hit me there for some reason, but yeah, they're there. What was I talking about? Right. And the controllers were great too until you played one game, Mario Party, which for some reason, Mario Party, you know, had the games where like you'd have to turn the joystick really fast, you know, like tug of war and stuff, which just blew the crap out of all of your controllers, you know? Son of a bitch. So yeah, you can always tell who played that game because the controllers are pieces of crap. Like all of mine. Alright, so here, well, there's 2 things we can do here. Firstly, this is where we can use the Deku stick for the first time. You can light something and light something else. For example, this lets us leave. Be sure, though, that before the stick burns all the way through, that you swing your sword, because if you do this, you will save the stick, and basically you can go through the entire game without ever losing your Deku sticks. But if you don't, then the stick will burn away and you'll lose it, which isn't a big deal. They're pretty common. But yeah. So we have another chest now. And what could this be? The compass, just like I said. So now on the map, you can tell, like, that little box in the bottom of the flashing room, that's a treasure chest. We now, like, see an arrow where we're at. The skull is where the boss room is in the dungeon, etc. It's fairly useful, you know. But, you know, I really didn't appreciate how useful maps were in games until I played Dark Souls. Because in Dark Souls, there is no map. You know, there's just no map anywhere. Can I hit this guy? And that game is so massive that without a map, it's really hard to find out where you're supposed to go. Do you know? So, I really underestimated this game with that function. We can just skip you. Grab another chest over here, and we get a heart! The most worthless chest piece, but that's okay. And then this is the very first gold Skulltula we'll ever encounter. If you kill it, it drops its face. You destroyed a gold Skulltula. You got a token proving you destroyed it. This is one of the collectibles in the game, which I will be getting every single one of. There are exactly 100 in the game, scattered throughout dungeons and other various places in the world, and I'm going to get you every single one. So, there's a lot of cool upgrades we can get. Really, past 50, you don't really need any of the upgrades. 50 is the most important one, but I'll get all 100 anyway. So, there you go. Let's blow this joint. I'm getting sick of this interior design. Not really. So, here's the Deku Stick. Now, if you noticed before when I killed it, it took quite a few hits to kill him. It only takes one with a diving attack, and this is why. The Deku Stick is roughly 2 times the strength of a normal sword attack, which means that it's as strong as the second sword that you get in this game. And a jump attack is as strong as a slash from the third sword that you get in this game. So really, it's a pretty dang powerful weapon that is very useful in fights, especially in boss fights, and can really save you some time. They're also useful in obtaining some items. So if we drop from all the way up here, we now have enough weight to crush through this spider web to gain access to the next area in the dungeon. Go ahead and grab another Deku Stick. Oh, and also grass like this will grow back. But the greener grass will not. See? Grows back. So there's pretty much an infinite supply of stuff in them. Here's Skulltula number 2. And this is one where it's really useful to have the Deku Stick, because you can like jump. Actually, no, we didn't need it, but like a jump attack with this would get us further to grab that because the weapon is longer, but we didn't need it after all. So we'll burn up that and gain access to another chest. Give me your souls, inhabitants, and whatnot. That didn't make sense. Another heart. So here we go. Jump over here. And now here, this is also blocked. What is that sound? Oh! Huh! I forgot about this one. That would have really sucked considering I just talked about getting all 100 and I almost forgot this one. But yeah, Skulltulas, you can hear them if they're nearby because they make that scratching, climbing sound, so if you hear one, look around because there's one somewhere. In some places where they hide, they don't make any sound, but I'll point those out when we get there. It's pretty easy to tell if there's probably a Skulltula somewhere or not, and the game likes to hide them in similar places. Okay, so now we have to light this, jump down here, so that we can jump over here without the torch hitting the water, because that will, of course, put out the flame. So we can open up this area and go into this door. So we have another Deku Scrub. Deflect that back at you, Star Wars style. What's up, sir?
Please forgive me, Master. I'll never do it again. If you spare me, I'll teach you something cool.
Well, okay.
You will never beat my brothers up ahead unless you punish them in the proper order. The order is 2, 3, 1. 23 is number 1. Do you think I'm a traitor? Yes, definitely a traitor. So this is the first time that we see another puzzle in the game. These eyeballs. If you shoot them with a bow, which we get later in the game, or the slingshot like now, it'll flip the switch and open something up. I believe the silver ones will never change back once you hit them, but the gold ones, once you hit them, they're on a timer, so they're only open for so long, basically. So here we are in the next room. After you get into the water, if you hold down A, you can dive. I bet there are some interesting things underwater. Wink, wink, wink.
Yeah. So here, to get across the room, there's this floating platform and this spiky turny thingy. So basically, we cannot ride across because we'll get killed by that thing, which would really suck. But like she said, if we check underwater, there's a switch down here, which if we hit, will lower the level of the water, which is very useful. So now we can come up here. And this timer is very long, so you don't really have to worry about having enough time. We can jump down onto this thing. And go right underneath it. Skadoosh. Alright, so another one of these guys here. We know how to handle the likes of them. Goodbye. I'll take these. Yeah, so this is basically a block that we can push. Man, you talk so slow, Navi. I will pretty much never read anything that just tells us directions, or like how to play. Those are just worthless to read. Basically, anything in this game that has this symbol on it, we can basically push. Ah. have to hold it down, I forgot. Yeah, so we can push this thing. Alright, up we go, and into the next room. We're almost done with the dungeon now. But like I said, it's pretty short. Got some more stuff in this room. I could use another Deku stick, to be honest. Hey. Dang it! You did not die the way I wanted you to. Where's the Deku? Here we go. Give me something nice. And they will drop an infinite supply, which is awesome. Alright. Go ahead and light all of these. There we go. And later on, we get a pretty cool magical power that makes lighting torches a lot easier. But until we get that, the Deku Stick's the way to go. But it's so strong anyway that that's okay. Grab another one just for good measure, because every time we use it as a weapon, we lose it. Oh, you. Curse you! Turn around. Turn around. In the butthole! There you go. Sorry, you're dead. Alright, so this room is kind of odd. There are these egg thingies up top. And if you run around the room, I'll show you here. Their shadows are on the floor. And they will drop. These are Goma larvas. So, when they turn red, they're about to attack. They're not very tough. Though they are probably the toughest mini enemy in this dungeon. But 2 hits and they're dead, pretty much. With the Deku Stick, it's even faster, but I don't want to waste those for these guys. Alright, now this part, I'll just show you real quick. Leads to a little walled off area. Later in the game, when we get a special exploding item, we can get through this area and go into the next room where there is a gold Skulltula waiting for us. But we don't have those until the second dungeon, and even once we have those, we can't get it from where it's at until the third dungeon. So we'll be back to get that later in the game, guys. I'll go ahead and we have to use a torch to burn this web over here. There we go. Go ahead and grab some provisions before we enter on. Some hearts, and we don't need those, but oh well. So here we go. Okay, so we're back on the other side of that room before. If you looked, I didn't point it out, but this area is a little bit too high to have gotten to before. But watch out, do not fall off yet, because once we push this block down, we now have access to the entire room, because we can climb it to get back up here. But until you do, if you fall off, you have to backtrack the entire way, which would really suck. So that's dropped now. Do you respawn once you're dead? I don't remember. Give me one of your sticks. Basically, I think the ones that are just pointing upwards, they will regrow. See, like his stock stays there, but the other ones are dead forever. That's basically how that works. But so this time we do not have the aid of falling from a high distance. So we're gonna have to use fire. That torch is too high, but since we got this block here, we now have access to the entire area. So you run up and you roll on this to burn it. So here we go. Ah! Kablunk. Falling like a green turd. So here we are. And that skull on the map means that we're really close to the boss fight. Oh, I missed. So this is that area that the Deku Scrub from before was talking about. His brother's up ahead. And the order, so we have to beat them in the correct order, which is 2, 3, 1. So once we hit the last one, he'll start running around the room. If you stay in the spot, he'll eventually come back to you, so you don't have to chase him down. How did you know our secret? How irritating! It's so annoying that I'm going to reveal the secret of Queen Goma to you. In order to administer the coup de grace to Queen Goma, strike with your sword while she's stunned. Oh, Queenie, sorry about that. So he pretty much gave away the boss secret to us. So all of these guys are traitors, but they're not hardly enemies, as just, you know, comical lackeys, you know. In Majora's Mask, they're a little bit more annoying and evil, but in this one, they're not bad at all. So here we go. We've gone through the entire first dungeon, and we're entering the boss room. Steel your courage, viewers. This boss fight is really easy. So we walk in, and this room is actually really, really cool. I'll point it out before we get started, because I don't think the boss fight starts until I do a certain action. But, oh, we're locked in now. Okay, never mind, it's really dark, we can't see anyway. So if you walk up and you look up, there's this glowing thingy, which is... Oh my god! Up here in space, I'm looking down on you. That's a good song, but never mind. The parasitic armored arachnid, Goma, the first boss in the game. And Goma is a name used quite a bit in gaming, but when she rears up and turns red, she's stunned and you can smack her, and the Deku Stick is very strong. So if you smack her with that, it'll save a lot of time. I think we could have actually killed her if I'd hit her again already, but no, it's not that bad. After you hit her, she'll climb up on the ceiling, and do this very undignified thing. Her eye will turn red, and she'll start laying eggs. Those enemies that we saw before. Yeah, she's already dead. And the eggs will hatch and chase you around as babies, but this fight's really easy, especially if you use a Deku Stick. So there you go. The first boss fight in the game. Goma is down. I just love that musical score that happens when you kill bosses. It's pretty dang awesome. So we get a heart container, one of the most awesome collectibles in the game. When we get one, which they always drop from boss fights pretty much, we get a new heart added to our meter up in the top left. So now we have 4 hearts total instead of 3. So if you look around this room, I believe, shoot, that ringing is very loud. Turn down a little bit. If you look up on the walls, it's like there's a portrait of the Deku Tree in it. Like, this looks like a face to me, doesn't it? Like, there's those 2 eyes, then a big nose, and that thing at the bottom is kind of like a mustache. That's just what I think, guys, but I don't know. So yeah, that's this room, and then when a boss dies, or in other areas too, this portal shows up that if you go inside, will teleport you out of it, because you are victorious and we don't have to walk outside. That's for losers. So there we go, outside of the dungeon. Good work, Link! Well done, Link! Thou hast verily demonstrated thy courage. I knew thou wast to be able to carry out my wishes. That's what she said. Now, I have yet more to tell ye. Wouldst thou listen? Of course. Now, listen carefully. A wicked man of the desert cast this dreadful curse upon me. This part is really cool. That guy, I'm sorry, Ganondorf was designed really awesomely in this game, especially his horse. It's just so cool. This evil man ceaselessly uses his vile, sorcerous powers in his search for the sacred realm that is connected to Hyrule. For it is in that sacred realm that one will find the divine relic, the Triforce, which contains the essence of the gods. Before time began, before spirits and life existed, 3 golden goddesses descended upon the chaos that was Hyrule. Din, the goddess of power. Nehru, the goddess of wisdom. And Feyor, the goddess of courage. This is basically the Big Bang Theory for Hyrule, pretty much. Din. With her strong flaming arms, she cultivated the land and created the Red Earth. Nehru, poured her wisdom onto the earth and gave the spirit of law to the world. Faeror, with her rich soul, produced all life forms who would uphold the law. Dragon Ball Z! No, I'm just joking. And there it is. The three great goddesses, their labors completed, departed for the heavens. And golden sacred triangles remained at the point where the goddesses left the world. Since then, the sacred triangles have become the basis of our world's providence. And the resting place of the triangles has become the sacred realm. Sweet! Yeah, so that's the symbol in every Zelda game. Thou must never allow the desert man in black armor to lay his hands on the sacred Triforce. Thou must never suffer that man, with his evil heart, to enter the sacred realm of legend. That evil man, who cast the death curse upon me and sapped my power. Because of that curse, my end is nigh. Though your valiant effort to break the curse were successful, I was doomed before you started. I love that line, it's just so awesome. Yes, I will pass away soon, but do not grieve for me. I have been able to tell you of these important matters. This is Hyrule's final hope. I love how we sat down to hear the tale. I never really noticed that before. Link, go now to Hyrule Castle. There thou will surely meet the Princess of Destiny. Take this stone with you, the stone that man wanted so much that he cast this curse upon me. Yeah! Here we go. Our first awesome reward. You got the Kokiri's Emerald. This is the spiritual stone of the forest, now entrusted to you by the great Deku Tree. Sweet. The future depends upon thee, Link. Thou art courageous. Navi the Fairy, help Link to carry out my will. I entreat ye, Navi. Goodbye. And I like this, like, leaves start to fall from the tree, and it pretty much becomes petrified, because the great Deku Tree dies. The cool thing is that his mouth stays open, so we can enter into him again even after he's dead. Let's go to Hyrule Castle, Link. I'm not upset at all that he just died. Change of subject. Goodbye, great Deku Tree. Sweet, so that is that. Finish the first dungeon. No, not again. Come on, man. I've got places to go. I got a princess to go see. Moves to set on. Hey, Link! What did you do? The great Deku Tree. Did he die? How could you do a thing like that? It's all your fault. Constipated little son of a bitch. Okay, yeah, so we pretty much just were framed for murder. But that's okay, because there's no real law here. And Mido hated us anyway. So we're done. Okay, so, let me think. Yeah, that's all I'll do in this episode. Thank you for watching, guys. This has been a great installment of Let's Play Ocarina of Time. In the next episode, we will, tie up a couple of loose ends, as well as obtain a couple of items before we go, which will help us on the way, and then leave the forest for the first time, perceivably, in our young Kokiri lives. So there you go. The world is going to get a lot bigger in the next episode, so I hope you enjoy, and stay tuned for that. Until then, go get some Taco Bell, kick back, relax, talk to the ladies, or the guys if you are a lady, and I'll see you next time. This is Heretic Plus, signing out.